Welcome to Cyberpunk Room Build series, where I'm rebuilding my tiny office room to look more like something out of Blade Runner or Neuromancer lore. This episode will be shorter than usual because this time I'm building just a simple wall shelf to maximize the space and make some decorations. I will go through all the items, greebly kind of things, and interesting products I found to match the aesthetics. I will be reusing the little program we made in a previous episode to generate graphics in the Cyberpunk style for little LED matrices, and we'll be shopping around on AliExpress trying to find interesting and educational items that match this vibe. Like every previous project, this one as well started with the ugliest of sketches in the notebook and an order of aluminium extrusions. For anyone new joining the series, here's a quick summary of the core idea that pushed me to start making all these cyberpunk sci-fi projects. First, I discovered aluminium extrusions and realized they're reasonably priced, and for many projects maybe even cheaper than wood depending on the location. The second realization was that 50% of the cost for aluminium extrusion builds is in the hardware and connecting pieces, which I can simply print with my 3D printer since parts made out of PETG plastic are more than strong enough for my needs. Combining these two insights pushed me to finally start building my dream sci-fi workspace. The prices are reasonable and all the parts are completely reusable, which is super cool and sustainable. But to be perfectly honest, there are two even more important reasons I'm drawn to aluminium extrusion builds. First is obviously the aesthetics. They perfectly match the industrial cyberpunk vibe I'm going for. Second, anything built this way automatically includes tons of mounting points for different modules, expansions, and decorative greebly kind of thingies. In future episodes, I'll definitely be building smaller utility modules to extend these larger frames and projects I'm making, like today's full wall shelf. For the bottoms of the top two shelves, which will be carrying a heavier load like books, I use perforated aluminium plates that are readily available at the hardware store. I obviously matched the depth of the shelves to fit the perforated plates perfectly, so I didn't need to cut anything. For the three smaller, lower shelves, I used some hollow polycarbonate plates I had left over from the first desk project, since they are strong enough and allow for cool lighting solutions due to their transparency. The plain white walls would completely ruin the aesthetic of the whole build, so I decided to use the section of pieces of the wall to experiment with different wall coverings during this build. Obviously, any additional diffusion or sound absorption properties of the wall coverings will be very beneficial for any audio recording later, but that's not the focus here. Obviously, it's more about the aesthetics. I did the first row using the dimpled membrane, which is really cheap material usually used to isolate foundations from the elements. Not super happy with it, especially the close-ups of the parts that are not very tightly mounted don't look that great. Then the row above that, I reused the leftover steel plates I had because I want to use that as a pin wall kind of or magnetic wall for mounting, and I framed with the leftover foam material I had. For the bottom row, I simply decided to use the rest of the foam I had laying around because I really need some more sound absorption in the room, and simply 3D print the mounting and framing all around it with maybe some interesting larger elements like a vent kind of looking lamp or other modules later. I didn't manage to finish this lamp module in time, so it's not functional yet and will just be a placeholder during this project. Now let's get into semi-functional greebly items I collected for the shelf. Obviously these are not greeblies, I'm not making any models or replicas, just like decorative items that are kind of functional to a degree. So the first one is this little DIY infinity cube I found on AliExpress. It's basically a handful of little PCBs that you have to solder together to build a frame, and then you solder the little cob LED fibers on it, and tiny SMB resistors. It comes with a power adapter and a little switch, so it works like a little night lamp basically. And you get the infinity cube effect by gluing the included transparent mirror acrylic parts on each face. Another useful item I found for decoration is this black and yellow warning tape. I used it first to frame the shelf a little bit to see how that looks like on camera, and I also used it to just cover some labels on bottles. That didn't work quite as well as I hoped for because just the pattern on the tape is too large and not fit for smaller items. Next, I found some LED matrix name tags or name badges. They're programmable either with USB cable, but that's only with the included Windows software, or over Bluetooth with an Android app, both of which are not very usable. So I used some library I found on GitHub to send the messages that can program these screens, and then use Cloud Code to extend this once to include generated GIFs for my own LED matrix graphics generator. And then for the second, more interesting animation, I simply developed a hard-coded animation that represents this low H2O message on the little badge, which I can use maybe later for responding to humidity or water sensor for plants. Another interesting find was this little laser lens optics demonstration kit, which is just a lot of fun to play with. Doesn't serve any other function than, maybe you can use it as a little nightlight if you would replace the battery with a little USB plug. And I thought it would be fun to include on the magnetic pinboard thingy. You have like a dynamic adaptable light that you can change up based on your mood or whatever, just to fidget with. I also found this cheap pack of little test tubes or vials. I thought maybe I can use it to propagate the plants, but turned out they were kind of small for that. Anyway, I 3D printed different holders for them, and will probably try to use them with some smaller or thinner plants for propagation, or maybe some other experiments. I definitely could use them for trying out many different spores, mushroom spores, turning them into mycelium, since these have little tops, and some species are not that sensitive, so it doesn't have to be 100% sterile environment. So I'm gonna be playing with that soon. I also stumbled upon this water atomizer, or mister as it's sometimes called, or fogger, depending on where you search. It's quite powerful, so it also shoots water, not only makes mist above it. So I 3D printed this little cover and tested it out. It kind of works, but I don't have a proper container for it, so I'll have to 3D print something. Anyways, due to the time limitation, I didn't use it in anything on the shelf, but probably like a small terrarium or something to kind of mist the plants, or even for the mushroom watering later, it will be useful. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. There are many new projects coming up soon. I will hopefully get the new Makera CNC machine to review and test. Also, I'll be making an interesting musical instrument based on extrusion soon, so I'm really excited about that. So please subscribe to follow for more.